Bear with me for a moment or two. I'm going to be setting this up and then leaving. There should be sound. It's probably just kind of quiet. Don't look at me, weirdo. Keep looking at your food. Mind your manners. So today, oops. So shake it. There we go. I love when she gets those worms and shakes it like a rock star. Um, Hold on one moment, please. I'm trying to focus on that. So today was a mix of, there's a certain few styles of actually cat food at this young age, and she's almost at the age where I'm going to be giving her dog food. But there are specific kinds, more of like what would be considered high quality. I'll give you some worms. Oh, there it is. That's my favorite. Where was I? So then I did not have any vegetables because I'm going to I'm going shopping later. So I have a mix of um, I want to say fried, but it's not, like freeze dried veggies that I mix up. A lot of, so when you hear that, mostly what it is her clearing her nose. She's such a messy eater that if you watch, she gets a lot of the soft food in her nose and like sneezes it out. It's adorable. So there's the cat food, those veggies. I put a little bit of a powdered mix in there that's specific for blue-tongued skinks. And then, in case you didn't see, or depending on when you made it, there were actually two frozen mice. Oh, that one got away. And there were two of those in there, and then I'm putting kind of those mealworms in there now because I'm surprised that she ate the food that fast. So she gets a big variety. They're omnivorous, so you want to have a lot of non-protein, meaning not meat, added in there. They eat vegetables, fruit, things like that. Yep, tiny mice, baby mice. They sell them at the pet shows. They freeze them, so when I get them, they're already dead. Some people sell and some people feed their ones at just kind of live pinkies. That was the method that I got them this time. You thaw them out and give them to them. Some people think it's a lot more ethical because the freezing of them is a lot more quick and painless as opposed to getting kind of slowly squeezed to death in the jaws of a big skink. Yeah, we're talking about you, handsome. You want a mealworm? Let me see if I can snag you one more. Daddy has to go shopping. Got to get you some fresh fruit and veggies. You and the girls eat so much better than I do, by the way. Sorry, sweetie, but I think we're about done on the mealworms. Let me see. Did we have that conversation, Ninja, about... I think it was a conversation I had in my own head. Or I think I mentioned it in a video like where I put text about how they digest, because it's just fascinating to me. I didn't know how intricate and just different the digestive system was. But goodness gracious, I may see if I can find something else. Maybe I'll just feed you again later. Did you just fart? Yeah, I asked you. I heard that. Take this out. So I did have one more pinky that I was trying to feed to my gecko, but she would not eat it. I think I'm going to put it in there. So my point is, it may make you kind of gross or nauseous if this is something you don't want to see. You may want to just kind of turn away for a moment or turn the screen off, but I'm going to put that last pinky in there for her. So I'll be right back. I have to grab the tweezers. Disclaimer, in about 10 seconds, you're going to see a frozen dead baby mouse get fed. Yeah, I see you sniffing. You're happy. You may. It depends. Like, sometimes they just gobble it down, and sometimes they get it, and it's gross, and I get it. You know, it is what it is. Dum, 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 dum. Come on, gobble it down, girl. Right down the gullet. There we go. That wasn't so bad. But with her, in fact, I think it was you, Ninja. If it was you, hold on one second. So if it was you, Bearby, I apologize, but I think it was you, Ninja. I've been bitten by her twice, and each time was my own mistake. It was almost literally saying, "Hey, I'm eating," and you put your hand literally in my food. I think one time I was trying to put something in, and the other time I was just reaching to get the water dish. And the one time she did, it was pretty significant, not in terms of just like there was there was nothing externally, but it just was a lot more of a bite grip than I thought. And it was stunning for a moment. I was like, wow, she's got a bite to her, because I kind of pulled her when she bit on. I just kind of went to pull away, and I don't know, did it freeze on my end, or did you? I don't know how the video quality's been. I guess I didn't ask about that. But yeah, it just surprised me because I went to like, oh, ow, and pull away, and with it, I didn't jerk, but she was just not letting go right away, and we were both kind of like, okay, what do we do? She let go. We went on our way. You are such a handsome little devil. If you rewind it, Ninja, does it not display it? I'm curious, because I've had that before where I'm watching it and just on my end it glitched, and then I kind of hit the rewind thing. All right, I'm gonna hush for a moment. Let me know when you're back. You are just the most beautiful skink in the world. You know that? I can see the resemblance. I think I see me in your eyes and your chin. Maybe in the cheeks. You got a little bit of me in your cheeks. Huh. One day we'll find out who your mommy is. You're just gonna glare at me? Yeah. Let me play for a moment. See. Yeah, we're zooming in on you, handsome. Yeah, I haven't got the blue tongue part down yet. So I'm assuming she's getting that from her mom. I'm going to step away for, a quick drink of water. Let's see. It is funny. I'm going to start recording it more, but she is smart as can be, because she'll watch me. She knows that I'm getting ready to feed her, and she'll put her face right up against the glass and just like say like, I'm right here. Hello. She looks like she's a aquatic thing breaching. She is so awesome. I just realized this is not, it's kind of slanted, but you can't really tell because of the angle. Nice. I'm going to fix that just because it's irking me. So that, like I say, was a lot quicker than expected. I was only planning on streaming for 20 or 30 minutes. So we can hang out here. I can post up in the garter snakes. What were you asking? So I gotta look, but if you just my only frame of reference would be to look back on my channel. And but if I had to guess, 4 to 6 months. And like I say, it wasn't planned so much, but I think it was just an interesting story because I violated a few of my own rules. I should not have been actively looking for a pet. And realistically, again, I don't know if I said it specifically, but if you don't know, these lizards generally, if you find one on sale for $250, you take it. They're anywhere from $300 generally to $500, and then once you get into where people say morphs or color patterns, they get more expensive. Now, what I think happened for me was a perfect storm of sorts in that lizards tend to brumate. Now, you can, like I'm doing, keep them out of brumation, but this is the only time I'm going to not put her in brumation. My point is, I think they did not want to navigate having her in brumation and then possibly getting disturbed because someone may want to look at her, may want to handle her, check her out before, because obviously you want to visually inspect them at the very least, make sure they have all their digits, they're not cut, they're not, any wounds or anything like that. And when they're in brumation, that disturbs them a lot. And then it can make an unsuccessful brumation, and it can sometimes kill them depending on the health and age of the pet. So what I think happened is they were trying to, I don't mean this negatively, but get rid of her to avoid having to navigate that brumation thing. So they marked her down to $80. And $80 from anywhere, like I say, for that I would have paid $200 for. Man, I lucked out with her. Now let me read. I'm always Ninja. You don't have Discord, do you? You have to join my Discord server, even if it's literally just for me. You will not regret it. I recommend that, looking into it. But yeah, I just don't want to sit here and talk about it. I don't even remember how I got into the subject of what I brought her home. Oh, how long did I have her? Yeah, and but the interesting thing was, she was originally on sale for $100, and I was like, "Ooh, I really want to buy her." That $100 even then is a steal. That's essentially half off of what I would pay minimum value. So then I started looking into things. Just maybe if they drop her down or something, I'll grab her. But again, in my heart, I'm like, "Oh, but I know someone's gonna grab her." But I was just looking into the care, and then the care to me was so similar to my African fat tail gecko and where I used to have leopard geckos, that it was an easy transition, and I had almost everything I needed all but set up and ready. And then one day I went there just to get crickets and stuff for my gecko and minnows for the snake, and they brought her down to 80, like I say, and that was it. And like I said, it's somewhere between 4 and 6 months where that has happened. But it's funny. I laugh. Oh, there she goes. She's like, "Shut up, Steve-O." Let's go check out the snakes. I think that's what you're saying. And pardon the mess a little bit, but I'm on the girls are coming back tomorrow, and I'm on the last leg restructuring here. Those are where I don't think Tobe is watching, but pea pods, I'm giving them a bunch of this. That's all my dwarf whites where my zebras used to be. And my zebras have recently been moved into that top little bin with the, what would I would say, like cyan handle. So, oh man, life has thrown me a couple curveballs. My, do you know what this plant is called, Ninja? Or Beerby, are you still here? Or if anyone else is still here, I'm going to wait about 10 or 15, maybe 20, to see if any of you know what plant this is. I love it. I just, there's something to me where I love how you can see it's two-toned, basically. There's, now, again, I'm fighting to keep this thing alive. I kept it colder, but it's called a wandering Jew, which I just find fascinating. Here's the this good stuff coming back to life. But I actually fed the garters some pinkies also. In fact, let me make a little bit of room here. And bear with me, I apologize. Actually, I'll bring it back because, well, I went through this phase where I don't know, again, I don't know the terms, so I'm going to say this in my own dumb Stevo language. Some plants, I don't want to say hibernate so much as they go through seasonal cycles. And just as an example, sorry, I'm trying to do three things at once. My father's wife, he remarried, so I don't mean it offensively, but we were talking about how she brings her plants in during the winter, but still keeps them cold so they don't freeze, but they go through their seasonal cycles like that. And I was debating doing that. Correct. Thank you. Again, all that stuff that is, I don't understand like smart people do. But I may have to pull this up a little bit. Bear with me again. No, that's maybe good enough. Someone's looking at us right there. That's Mav. And the long story short is I don't think I did it right, and now I'm kind of bringing it back like I should have. Oh, someone else is coming to say hi. There's Ruby. Yeah. I'm gonna go wash my hands and then open it up and see if one of them want to come out and play. Maverick has become shy lately. Ruby is almost, as you can see, she's been flirting with coming out, but she almost always chickens out. So let's see. Sorry for a moment, I gotta hit that. Ugh. Yep. Alrighty, chickening out. See that tongue saying hi, guys? Oh, two tongues saying hi. I want to get in the habit of, when I bring them out, always giving them a treat, which is difficult for these guys. So I got to navigate that. Yeah, I see you sneaking over there. So that's Ruby Angel. And then Maverick. And I don't know, always open for suggestions, but I don't think you know this, Beerby, unless it came up in a random conversation. Yeah, I'm talking about you. Slither away. So the way I name pets and animals is when I get them, I'll give them a name that will be their middle name, or in this case, as Maverick was a rescue that was given to me, she had a name already. So that's going to be her middle name. And then after, again, it all depends on the animal. Dumpy was named almost immediately because um, my youngest loved the name Dumpy and it was just perfect. But my point is, I will usually wait until, come on, they develop some kind of personality or aspect or anything like that that I kind of just like to focus on. So, Dumpy's thing was, and the way my, again, my youngest just reacted to it um, was twofold. She liked Dumpy because I, she just looks dumpy, like walking around with her short, stubby legs, knocking into stuff, eating like a weirdo. But she also, I hear her poking around in her as I'm saying this. She has a tendency to poop in her water dish. She takes a dump in her water dish and then expects me. And it's generally like right after I do it. It's either I put it in there and she poops in it, or I put it in there and it's safe for its duration. But 8 times out of 10, as soon as I put it in there, wash my hands, she's squatting over the bowl. Which I guess in one way, like a human, makes sense. She's just using, sitting down over the bowl. Look at them, both of them looking at us. One high, one low. So the interesting thing, in my opinion, and this is just a very oversimplification and broad, I'm just very broadly speaking, but generally speaking, first, I don't know if either of these are male and female. I just assume, and I don't really care. If they're boys, I don't care. If they're girls, I don't care. It's not like if I found out one was a girl, I would not like it or would only like it if it was a girl. So it doesn't really matter. But the best thing about garter snakes, in my opinion, and I'm going to oversimplify, I'm not sure if this is the case. I'm going to say every almost, so I'll say that with a caveat, almost every other snake species together, if you put them together, unless they are a mating pair, a female and a male, they will generally kill each other or have conflict or fight and be stress each other out, hurt one another. There's a territorial thing. Now, what I love about garter snakes is they're communal, they're social. They, as you put them together, you could put 5 males together, or 4 females, or 2 and 2, whatever. They actually get more social, they get more bold and curious, they'll come out more actively, like you see now. So they actually, not only do they just tolerate each other, they actually benefit from being around other garter snakes. And as long as it's something where you're not having them crammed in a space with no room, that just naturally creates conflict. It would be like locking all, you, me, and Ninja in a closet and expecting us not to fight. But as long as they have the room that they need, they thrive together, not just tolerate each other. They're better together. And I love that. I love the fact that I don't have to worry about these guys hurting one another. And if I do, it's my own mistake and me not doing something right and something that I should have done differently, if that makes sense. I absolutely love that. Again, the fact that you can, again, just take a lot of liberties with these guys that with no other snake species would I be able to my knowledge. I'm sure there is another or something out there, but come on, I want to hang out. I also love the fact that, again, with most other breeds of snakes, most, again, and there are, as I learn a lot more, there are more snakes I would trust, but my point is, there are so many snakes I would never feel comfortable doing, even what I'm doing right now, just putting my hand in front of them to entice them to come out. And the bulk of it is because I am scared of snakes. I don't generally like snakes. I'm not a snake person. And the reason I do like snakes to the degree I do is because I took the time to learn about them. And that's, like I say, the easiest way to stop being scared of something is to learn about it. And I'm sure one day I'll potentially think about other snakes. Before I get down to that path, I want to get at least two more garter snakes, one for each of my daughters. So Ruby is Gabby's. Mav is kind of mine because she's that rescue. And then I want to get one for the other two. And I think I want to get another one, actually buy one for myself, which would be, if you get a chance, look them up. They're Florida blue garter snakes. They're they're just awesome. Well, did you mention it, Ninja? Where I think it was you, but it may not have been. Who knows? Someone mentioned naming them all. I think, and maybe it was my daughter now, which blew me away. I think it was Bobo who thought about naming them all at either their first name when they come home or what their name will be on par with Ruby. So like a gemstone or mineral or something like that. And I'm debating. I like that a lot. I was so was it you or was it her? Maybe both of you. Honestly, I know it wasn't me because I'm not smart enough to come up with that stuff. And I still have to pick a middle name technically for, I always want to say Ruby, but Stripe, the African fat tail, because I did not come up with that naming convention until well after I got her. So she is still the OG with just the first name. Yeah, I lucked out with those girls. Not with these snakes today, though. No one wants to come out and play. I'm gonna step away for a quick moment and what? Look, I just want. Actually, that looks really cool, and you can't see it, unfortunately. I kind of missed it in that cave. Mav's hanging out, and then Ruby was just kind of like, "What's up?" Oh man, I missed the moment, but I think I'm gonna leave it here. Oh, now you want to come say something? Actually, can you see Mav a little bit there? You can see her. Just the bottom of her chin is poking out from that hole, if you can kind of see. I don't want to. Let me see. Can I zoom without moving too much? There it is. Can you see her in that? I can't tell very well right now. I think you can see it a little. It's interesting how, again, this is what I find fascinating. Ruby is more active and out now. Whereas when Mav first got here, she was out all the time, every day. And now they kind of done a role reversal where Mav tends to just kind of relax and I gotta find her. She's usually up in that hole, and Ruby's out exploring everywhere all the time, never in the same spot. Yeah, your pink tree is saying, "Hi, can I go get my water now? Or are you gonna bolt? I don't trust you. You know you made it outside once, and that you nearly scared me to death." And see, there is some of that. It's not so much competition as just, I would say, in a privilege, where if there's a spot that is the best, warmest spot with the most access to basking, for example, the bigger snake is going to naturally get it. It's just going to, even if they're not going to fight, it's going to body it out of the way, push it out of the way, move it out of the way, or lay over it to get what it wants. It's so And that's what I like about these guys is that's how they will work that out, as opposed to boas or pythons, where if I want that spot and you're in it, well, obviously I have to take my territory back from you now. And again, I love that aspect of these guys. Come on, say hi. I was mentioning pea pods. They are, again, I can say the same thing because I was not a snake guy at first, but they're kind of getting me intrigued by spiders because there's a species called Trinidad. I'm gonna oversimplify, but it's like they call them Trinidad golds or Trinidad olives. It's a Trinidad tarantula, whatever. I don't know the species name, but I'm fascinated by them because somewhat similar to these guys, they're communal and social. And I always say it fascinates me. I love communal things in general, but additionally, when it's something that is like not supposed to be, like I say, snakes are generally not like that. Generally, if you put snakes together, there's conflict and territorial things and mating things, and like you say, more dominating things as opposed to the privilege, so to speak. And gosh, I'm sorry, they're just so adorable. I totally forgot what I was talking about. I'm sure it was super important. But yeah, snakes and spiders, and naturally, like I say, when things are not communal and like my brain is like, I just want to navigate that. I don't know if you're familiar with harvestmen. They're not technically spiders. I think they're arachnids, but I'm not even sure of that. But they're very similar. They're kind of often um, colloquially called daddy long legs, but they're not. There's a lot of those that can be communal, and again, like just things like that, the predatory, I don't know, just it fascinates me, just even talking about it, my brain kind of says, wow, this shouldn't be the case. Think you can kind of see Mav in the back there. Yeah, I always say the best conversations end up miles from where they started. Yeah, you can kind of see her chin again, Maverick over there in the back again, just watching and chilling. They each got two pinkies, so they're nice and full today. Like we were saying, they're digesting. Okay, just leave me alone, I'm digesting. Stay there for a minute, Ruby. As soon as this stream wraps up, I'm going to wrap up getting everything ready because the girls are coming back tomorrow. So I got to put the finishing touches on all of that. I will have to look into that. I was watching his I don't know if interview is the right word, but the conversation he had with Karen Strawn. And again, I think I love Karen Strawn. She's one of my favorite people ever. And it was tough for me to watch at first just because I think if you were watching it, they had all those issues and that was annoying. And I'm going to be honest, it's also hard for me to see her because what I Karen Strawhan smokes and is the kind of person who will stubbornly not do it even if she should quit. And it's a bummer because I can see her basically going down the same path of my mom from smoking. I can see I don't know. It's a bummer to see. Like I hadn't seen her in so long, and seeing her from that interview to the last time, I don't know. It sucks to see. But I hope she's good and everything. And then I actually kind of watched the rest of that interview, and not all of it. I did not get a chance to watch probably even a third of it yet, but it was a nice interview to watch. They don't mind it. I think it's honestly, and I it's difficult to ask because you can't ask in a way that does not almost lead to what you want the right answer to be, so to speak. So asking them to get a non-biased answer is something I try to navigate all the time. But I think it's been a lot nicer for them because, again, just from a kid's perspective, and again, thinking to when I was a kid and was kind of going through divorces and just as, general mentality, um, 2 weeks just gives you more time to decompress, relax, get set in, have more of a routine and a schedule. Everything is less rushed. You know what I'm saying? So I think they appreciate that, and they just say they like it better because it's more time here. But again, I mean, it's not, it's all the same. Whether it's 1 week or 2 weeks, it's 50-50. But again, they seem to react or interpret it positively. Again, I can't say good or bad or whatever, but I have not seen anything negative. It's not like their grades that then suffered, or they are growing distant from me or distant from their mom or getting into more trouble or doing bad in school or losing friends. If anything, I would argue it's the opposite since doing that things have gotten, like I say, easier, less compressed, and less just, again, I can't explain it. There was just that everything always was kind of rushed, and it is opened a lot more of that up. Ruby's over there looking at me. Come on. You haven't been out in a while, Mav, and I feel like when I come get you, I gotta chase you down and scare you. I'm not a fan of, but I also understand different reasons for the way, like you're saying, I don't like the 2 weekends a month and then most of summer. I think it naturally breeds, like you said, resentment. And like I think I talked to you before, one thing it and I can say if it happened to me, it's happened to at least a few more people. And what I found is just naturally, like I say, in those short time spans, what I found is when my daughters would come back, I would try to make it a big event as opposed to just the reality of you're just basically coming to your other home. And it almost made it to where, like I say, like the resentment was even subconsciously building because it was like trying to chase something that was not existent and creating something that should not have been created, if that makes any sense at all. It was very peculiar. And like I say, you naturally want to be a good parent as compared to the other one, but there, you want to make sure that you're not making it a comparison. So, and in fact, didn't you? Yeah, I did. You did leave a comment way back when about the methods to get rid of that heart thing, and it is in the way. I laugh because I complain about it when I'm on my phone. I don't think it's in the way on my PC as much. I'm not positive. And one interesting thing is, and I talk with you a lot about stuff like this, where fathers' rights in America are very backwards. And the problem in a lot of cases like that is the husband and father want to make things better and are willing to sacrifice things that are not reciprocated. Again, it's why I say I'm very fortunate where, regardless of what my ex and I think about each other and how we got here, we don't weaponize each other or villainize one another to the kids or anything like that. If one of the girls wanted to come by, or if I wanted to ask if one of the girls could come by, there would be no issues, and vice versa. So it I don't know. I understand as a husband where I would say, look, I'm just going to give her I'll take the kids 2 weeks in the summer, and again, I think most guys think, and we'll work it out from there. We'll work from there. And if they don't have, like I did, where again, like, hey, I got off of work this weekend. Can so and so come over? No, it's not your weekend. Wait for your turn is not something that anybody would want to hear. And again, like, so even if they are forced into those constraints, it's nice to not have to deal with that if you have a partner who's, like I say, more willing to work with you and less vindictive and all of that, and understands the importance of parenting and co-parenting and all of that. So which part were you in terms of Karen? What's funny, I took a moment to think because I refer to her as girl writes what in my head. So when you put Karen, I'm thinking like Karen, I'm thinking Karen in the context of the term everybody uses it. I'm like, who is being a Karen right now? But um, which aspect are you talking about, the parent, about Karen talking about, and the people in the chat reacting is? So I'm just curious. And I just, gosh, man, what really, really bothers me about Karen Strahan is, okay, yeah. Um, oh goodness, what was I gonna say? It totally left my mind. Oh well. I'm blaming you for putting your Karen comment again. But it was interesting, and because she in one of her, oh, that was it. I love her videos so much. Yeah, but watching her videos is very depressing and red pilling. It's just that. It's that experience. Like hearing again, I it was very nice to hear her, a woman, share her story about divorce. I'm going to oversimplify this a little bit, but she tells a story where she was going through her first divorce, and the lawyer who she hired to represent her was basically given her list of demands or whatever, which was nothing. It was just like, split everything. He'll take the house, I'll get the car, whatever. And he looked at her and was like, why are you doing this? Do you know how much you can get from him? Like, you could be walking away with so much. Why are you doing this? And the point is, like, the fact that he thought something was wrong with her not taking advantage of someone as opposed to being a decent person is the way the system kind of is today. And I was very lucky not to have to deal with that. But hearing her say it from, the woman's mouth, like, that it was like that I could have I could have taken everything for my ex, and not only that, I would have been applauded for it. Not only that, I was looked at as silly and naive for not doing it, even though I knew exactly what I was doing. I thought about what would happen if I financially ruined my ex-husband and didn't think that was a good idea, and people thought I was being silly for that and that I was not thinking sensibly. and recommended me to rethink my situation. Again, just that is absolutely fascinating to me and something I would not have I would have only been able to tell people it happens, and people would have told me, "No, Steve, that does not ever happen." And I would have to point them to someone actually saying it to hear, and then they'll still kind of tell me, "Well, that's just one person. That's just one, Steve." And my answer is that's just one person who's willing to talk about it. Viva's awesome, and I feel very peculiar, but I've watched him so much less since he moved to the United States, and it's nothing. It's just the way it's worked out. I love him, and Viva and Barnes are my favorite combo. I love I love it. It's just they take the social and political issues and then talk about it in a manageable legal aspect, which I think is awesome. But I haven't had time to watch them in so long. And didn't Matt Christensen recently? He went to a different media group, right? Because again, it's funny you say that because last week I was like, oh my god, what in the, I just I stopped and was like, I haven't seen anything from him. And then I went and his last video was something about some media thing, and I haven't had time to check it or peruse that again. Time is at a premium for me. And I have Tenant. Okay, I thought it was Tenant. Okay, see, and I haven't even heard what you say is about as much as I know about him and Tenant Media. Again, I don't know anything about it. I'm assuming it's more of what would be a right-leaning conservative group, but again, I don't know that because that's what's ironic to me is Matt Christensen started as an anti-Trump liberal, and now because he's not, people will say he's a right-wing, far-leaning, blah blah blah, where he's a centrist, at least in my opinion. Anyway, I find it fascinating how those can be perceived differently. I guess it fascinates me. In fact, Tim Pool is very similar now, if I'm not mistaken. Where again, they've always been arguably socialist, left-leaning, liberal types. Again, anti-Trump specifically, and just because they stopped hating people, they get villainized for it. I found that fascinating. See, and the interesting thing about libertarianism is again, I think that is ignorantly thrown into the category of the right, where I think and maybe I'm wrong, but I look at libertarianism as just a party name for centrism. Oh, they're gonna go hang out, or they're gonna not letting her in. Denied. Yeah, the only problem I really see with libertarianism is Americans. And I think it's going to be an interesting election year. I think so far I'm the only person who's excited about it. I don't look at it as negatively as most people. I'm glad it worked too. One day I'm just gonna snatch you out of there, Ruby. If you guys are gonna be lame, I'm gonna go over to the other side of the house and let Dumpy say goodbye. I'm gonna start wrapping up here, Ninja. I'm gonna go see what Dumpy. I think I hear plodding around over there. Anyone else who was here? If you're still here, Bearby, I hope everything is going well with you. You're taking care of yourselves and the ones that you love. Where are you at? There she is. Grumpy Dumpy, hiding under the log. Well, we will see, Ninja. We will see. I know someone who doesn't care. Her. You can see her butt and her leg. Kind of don't want to do this, but oh, that's why I didn't want to do it. I don't want her coming out. She just dug herself deeper. But with that, since Dumpy's not going to come out, we're going to wrap it up. Coming on to an hour. I said I was planning on 20 or 30. Yeah, they're all on timers. Could you hear her sneezing? That's like I say, if she gets sand in her nose, you can hear her sneeze the sand. What's not, I mean, not funny, I shouldn't say, but it's not uncommon for these guys to get respiratory infections because I always say I have a northern blue-tongued skink, not a blue-tongued skink. There's several different blue-tongued skinks, and these guys are from Australia, and the other ones are more generally from what is a more humid tropical island type environment. They're both hot, but northern blue-tongued skinks have a lot less demand for a humidity, so much so if there's too much, it can give them a respiratory infection. And I looked up on that. So when I got her, one thing no one has ever told me is they sneeze a lot. Like you guys even notice. They're eating, they sneeze, you know. And I wish someone would, in fact, I may make a little video about that only because the first thing I think is, oh my gosh, she's already got it. The first time she's eating, she's got a respiratory infection. I hear it and I'm waiting, and turns out no, you can actually, like I say in a few videos, see the stuff in her nose as she's sneezing it out. It's kind of funny, but oops. There we go. So we're going to wrap it up. I hope everything is going well with you. You're taking care of yourselves and the ones you love. Thanks for hanging out. If you have anything to say, speak now or forever hold your Peace. I will see you around, I'm sure, when I see you next. Go easy.